The smell of Grandma Chen's secret sauce still lingered in the air of Golden Dragon's flagship restaurant, even at midnight when I was supposed to be mopping the floors. But instead of cleaning, I stood in my cousin Michael's office, photographing documents he thought were safely hidden in his secret wall safe. My name is Sarah Chen, and until 6 months ago, I was the executive chef and heir apparent to Golden Dragon Restaurants, the chain my grandmother built from a single food cart into a 30-location empire. Now, thanks to my cousin's machinations, I was officially head of cleaning services, a fancy title for janitor. The health inspector's coming tomorrow. Michael had sneered earlier that day, tossing me a new mop. Make sure everything sparkles. Wouldn't want to disappoint the family, would we? I accepted the mop with a quiet smile, thinking about the evidence I'd been gathering during my late-night cleaning sessions. 6 months of documentation, showing how Michael and his allies on the board had been cutting corners, compromising food safety, and cooking the books along with the food. Grandma would have been horrified. Remember Sarah, she told me on her deathbed a year ago, the secret to success isn't just in the sauce. It's in the standards. Never compromise on quality. Never cut corners on safety. But Michael had other ideas. The moment Grandma's will was read, leaving me in charge of operations while he handled the business side, he'd started his campaign to push me out. First came the anonymous complaints about my management style, then the mysterious food cost overruns that somehow only happened in kitchens I directly supervised. Finally, the board meeting where Michael presented carefully doctored evidence showing I'd been mismanaging resources and endangering the brand's reputation. It's for the best, he'd said, not even trying to hide his smirk as the board voted to remove me from operations. You can still contribute to the family business, just in a different capacity. What Michael didn't know was that I'd seen this coming months before Grandma died. I'd watched him in board meetings, noticed how he steered conversations, built alliances. More importantly, I'd seen the small changes he'd been making in our supply chain. Cheaper ingredients, relaxed safety protocols, questionable vendors. So when he demoted me to janitor, thinking he was humiliating me, he actually gave me exactly what I needed. Unrestricted access to every office, every computer, every hidden file cabinet in the company. The night cleaning staff is so invisible, my friend Lisa from the health department had said when I called her after my demotion. Nobody thinks twice about what they might see or hear. She was right. In 6 months of night shifts, I discovered more than Michael ever suspected. Hidden financial records showing systematic theft from employee pension funds. Emails documenting kickbacks from suppliers providing substandard ingredients. Forged food safety inspection reports. And most damning of all, proof that Michael had been deliberately sabotaging kitchens under my supervision to build his case against me. But tonight's discovery was the biggest yet. In Michael's secret safe, I found documents showing he'd been using the restaurant to launder money for some very dangerous people. No wonder he'd been so desperate to gain full control of the company. My phone buzzed, a text from Lisa. Health inspection still on for 9 a.m. All inspectors briefed on what to look for. I smiled, thinking about the electronic trail of evidence I'd already sent to the FBI's Financial Crimes Division. Tomorrow's health inspection was just the visible part of the trap. Finishing my photography, I carefully returned the documents to the safe. Michael was so confident in his victory that he still used Grandma's birthday as his safe combination. That kind of arrogance was about to cost him everything. Still here, Sarah? The night security guard, Joe, poked his head in. He was one of the few employees who still treated me with respect. Just finishing up, Joe. Want to make sure everything's perfect for tomorrow's inspection. He nodded sympathetically. What they did to you wasn't right. Your grandmother would have never stood for it. No, I agreed quietly. She wouldn't have. And after tomorrow, she wouldn't have to. Back in my small apartment, I reviewed the evidence one last time. Every document was dated and notarized. Every photo was timestamped. Every audio recording was crystal clear. 6 months of careful documentation, all leading to tomorrow morning. Opening my laptop, I typed out one last email to the board members who weren't involved in Michael's schemes. They deserved a chance to distance themselves before everything exploded. Dear board members, tomorrow at 9 a.m., health inspectors will visit all Golden Dragon locations simultaneously. What they find will trigger multiple federal investigations. Those who cooperate quickly will fare better than those who resist. Remember what Grandma always said: the secret is in the standards. Regards, Sarah Chen, Executive Chef in Exile. I added links to copies of key documents and scheduled the email to send at 8:55 a.m. Just enough time for the innocent board members to avoid being caught in the blast radius, but not enough time for Michael to mount a defense. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Lisa. Teams in position at all locations. Evidence packages distributed. Everyone knows their role. Perfect, I replied. See you tomorrow. Lying in bed, I thought about Grandma's legacy. She'd built Golden Dragon on a foundation of quality, integrity, and respect for tradition. Michael had tried to destroy that legacy for quick profits. Tomorrow, he'd learn that some traditions are worth protecting. The next morning, I arrived at the flagship restaurant early, mop in hand. Through the kitchen windows, I could see teams of health inspectors gathering in the parking lot. Everything better be spotless, Michael called as he swept past me into his office. We can't afford any violations right now. Don't worry, I said softly. Everything's about to come clean. Right on schedule, at 8:55 a.m., my email went out to the board. At 8:57, I heard Michael's enraged scream from his office as his phone started buzzing with panicked responses. At 8:59, he burst out of his office, face purple with rage. What did you do? I leaned calmly on my mop. Just maintaining standards, cousin. Like Grandma taught us. The health inspectors walked through the door at exactly 9 a.m. Behind them came FBI agents with search warrants and forensic accountants with subpoenas. Michael lunged for his office, probably hoping to reach the safe, but it was too late. I'd already changed the combination last night after taking my final photos. Michael Chen. One of the FBI agents stepped forward. We have some questions about your financial records. Simultaneous raids at all 30 restaurants, she confirmed. Your cousin's associates are all being brought in for questioning. The board members who received your warning email are already cooperating. Through the office window, I could see reporters gathering outside. The fall of Golden Dragon would be big news, a beloved family restaurant chain brought down by corruption and greed. But I had other plans. My phone buzzed with a message from the emergency board meeting being held downtown. Vote complete. Michael and associates removed. You're reinstated as executive chef and CEO. Effective immediately. Ms. Chen. Lisa appeared with her final inspection report. You'll want to see this. The report detailed every violation Michael had instituted: substandard ingredients, compromised food safety protocols, missing safety equipment. But it also noted something else. In the small test kitchen I'd been secretly maintaining after hours, everything met or exceeded standards. You never stopped cooking, did you? Lisa asked softly. I watched as they led him away in handcuffs, still screaming about betrayal and family loyalty. The same loyalty he'd forgotten when he'd thrown me out of my rightful place in the company. Ms. Chen. Lisa approached with her clipboard, ready to show us around. I hung up my janitor's uniform and pulled out the chef's coat I brought with me. The one with executive chef, embroidered over the heart, the position that was rightfully mine. Let's start in the kitchen, I said. There's quite a mess to clean up. The next 24 hours at Golden Dragon were chaos. But the organized kind, the sort that happens in a well-run kitchen during dinner rush. FBI agents combed through offices while health inspectors examined every corner of the restaurant. I moved between them, providing documentation and answering questions, watching Michael's empire crumble receipt by receipt. We found everything exactly where you said it would be, Agent Torres told me, carrying another box of evidence from Michael's office. The money laundering records, the falsified health reports, the supplier kickback documentation. It's all here. I nodded, thinking about those long nights spent photographing documents and recording conversations. What about the other locations? Every night, I confirmed. Testing recipes, maintaining quality, documenting everything. Someone had to keep Grandma's standards alive. The next few weeks were a blur of reorganization and renewal. With Michael and his conspirators gone, I began the painstaking process of rebuilding Golden Dragon's reputation. Each restaurant needed deep cleaning, retraining, and a return to proper standards. But I had help. The employees who'd been silenced under Michael's regime came forward with information, eager to restore the company's integrity. Suppliers who'd been forced into kickback schemes provided evidence against Michael while negotiating new legitimate contracts. 1 month after the raids, I stood in the flagship restaurant's kitchen, addressing the assembled staff. The kitchen gleamed with new equipment, and the air smelled right again, like Grandma's secret sauce, made properly with quality ingredients. Golden Dragon was built on 3 principles. I began, looking at faces both old and new. Quality in our food, safety in our kitchens, respect for our traditions. My grandmother understood that success comes from maintaining standards, not cutting corners. I gestured to the newly installed transparency window, where customers could watch their food being prepared. From now on, everything we do will be in the open. No more secrets, no more compromises. The changes went beyond just the kitchens. I instituted new financial oversight measures, regular independent audits, and an anonymous reporting system for employees to flag concerns. The board was restructured to include food safety experts and veteran chefs alongside the business executives. But the most important change was in the company's culture. No more would dedicated employees be pushed aside for raising concerns. No more would profit margins outweigh food quality and safety. 3 months after Michael's arrest, I received a letter from the district attorney's office. Michael had taken a plea deal, agreeing to testify against his criminal associates in exchange for a reduced sentence. He'd still serve significant time for financial fraud and endangering public safety. Your grandmother would be proud, Joe, the night security guard who'd helped me gather evidence, said as he showed me the newspaper coverage. You saved her legacy. We saved it. I corrected him. Everyone who kept quiet, watched, and documented. We all played a part. 6 months later, Golden Dragon was thriving. Our reputation for quality had actually been enhanced by how transparently we handled the crisis. Customers appreciated knowing that someone had stood up for their safety, even at personal cost. I still spent most evenings in the kitchen, cooking alongside my staff, maintaining the standards Grandma had established. But now, late at night when the restaurants were quiet, I didn't have to sneak around gathering evidence. Instead, I could focus on what I loved, creating new recipes, training young chefs, and honoring the traditions that had made Golden Dragon special. 1 year to the day after the health inspection that changed everything, I hosted a special dinner service. The guests included Lisa from the health department, Agent Torres, and key employees who'd helped expose Michael's schemes. The menu featured all of Grandma's classics, made exactly to her specifications. A toast, Lisa proposed, raising her glass. To standards worth fighting for. I touched the locket I wore containing Grandma's picture. To legacies worth protecting. That evening, after the guests had gone, I sat in my office, my rightful office, reviewing plans for Golden Dragon's future. We were expanding again, but sustainably this time. Each new location would uphold the standards Grandma had established, the principles I'd fought to restore. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Michael's sentence had been finalized. 15 years for financial crimes with additional time for the food safety violations. His co-conspirators had received similar sentences. I felt no satisfaction at their punishment, only sadness for what their greed had nearly destroyed. But I also felt pride in what we'd rebuilt from the ashes of their schemes. Opening my desk drawer, I took out Grandma's old recipe book, the real one, not the modified version Michael had tried to use. Its pages were worn with use, stained with sauce and spices, marked with her handwritten notes about quality and care. The secret isn't just in the sauce, I whispered, remembering her words. It's in the standards. She'd been right, of course. Standards weren't just about food safety or financial integrity. They were about character, about choosing to do things the right way even when no one was watching. Or in my case, especially when people thought no one was watching. The next morning, as I prepared for another day of leading Golden Dragon forward, I passed the spot where I used to stand with my mop, gathering evidence. The janitor's closet was still there, but it was just a closet now. No more hidden files, no more secret documentation sessions. Instead, transparency windows showed happy customers watching their food being prepared. Digital displays tracked food safety metrics in real time. The kitchen hummed with the sound of quality ingredients being prepared with care and respect. Michael had thought giving me a mop was a punishment, a way to humiliate me into leaving. Instead, he'd given me the perfect vantage point to expose his crimes and protect Grandma's legacy. He'd forgotten the most important lesson she taught us. True power isn't in titles or corner offices, it's in maintaining standards, no matter what position you hold. Now, as I tied on my chef's apron and prepared to start another day, I smiled at the framed motto we'd hung in every Golden Dragon kitchen. Quality is not a compromise. Standards are not suggestions. Tradition is not for sale. Grandma's legacy lived on, stronger than ever, proof that sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. It's about preserving what's right, protecting what matters, and proving that quality always wins in the end. And sometimes, the person with the mop turns out to be the most powerful person in the room.